Hi, this is Brandon Smiley from thirstgym.com. Today we're going to talk about an exercise called the Kickstand Kettlebell Deadlift. This is a deadlift variation that you can use in your training programs, provides some variety for your athletes, but I think it's also great because we kind of shift the emphasis from a bilateral to a unilateral exercise. While both feet are technically still on the ground, we're clearly emphasizing one side or one leg over the other. The kettlebells are also nice is that, you can pair it with different things. You can add some carries. You can definitely get some training density in with the kettlebells as well. This is also great for your personal training clients that maybe aren't quite comfortable with using either a hex bar or doing any kind of sumo deadlift. So you've kind of got some options here in where you can put this and plug and chug in your training programs. So obviously you need two kettlebells, and what we're going to do is we're going to use our kickstand stance. So I've talked about this with multiple hinge-based exercises, but basically we're going to have one leg forward and one leg back, and we're going to be on our toe on the back one. Front foot is going to be completely loaded and flat, and then we're basically going to hinge, and that front leg is the leg that's taking the grunt of the work. So kind of get here an angle here. So I'm going to have my left leg forward, my right leg back, up on my toe on that back leg, chest stays tall, arms go long. I'm going to grab the weights. Now with this being a deadlift, we're obviously not just going to hinge over and bend over. We're actually going to have our knee bend, okay? So our knees have to bend, chest tall. We're going to come down, grab the kettlebells, and then push. Stop, push. Stop, push. And then the other side, kickstand stance, toe heavy on the back leg, heel heavy on the front leg, chest tall, arms long, hips go back and down while my knee bends just so I can get to the kettlebell, push through the front leg, and stand it. So obviously you got to do both sides, so keep that in mind. Usually when you're doing a standard deadlift, you're just going to do 4x5 or something like that. If you're going to do that, you need to even it out on both sides. The one thing you need to keep in mind is that if you have kettlebells that have different heights with the handles, as the weights get heavier, the range of motion could potentially get shorter. So competition-based kettlebells are super convenient for this because it's always the same height. You may have to use some mats or elevation if you got really light kettlebells, because what happens is you got a personal training client that's relatively new or not as strong, and they're basically down here trying to grab those kettlebells, and they're essentially doing a split squat, right? So keep that in mind on this. You definitely want probably a good general amount of strength in your athlete or your client before you go programming this. And I personally think that, around the 40, 50 pound pair of kettlebells is probably a good starting point for that. I do believe that most people, if they're ready to do some kind of hard, strenuous deadlifting, that 40-pound kettlebells probably aren't going to be a problem for most of them. So for us, when we program this, we're usually doing 3 to 5 sets of about 4 to 6 reps per leg, and then we kind of progress it from there based on what we need to do. It's also nice because you get that dead stop, so there's not a whole lot of hard eccentric work if they actually want to kind of drop them with a little bit of speed like your traditional deadlift, but usually this does require a little bit more control compared to your regular deadlift, so there probably will be a little more eccentric stress than a standard deadlift. So that's just another deadlift option. Obviously, single leg hinge pattern. We really love it with a lot of our athletes that have to be in a staggered stance. So definitely our swimming population, our track and field, those two that really come to mind where I program this quite a bit. But again, it's also great for the personal training client that just needs some deadlifting or some hinging pattern, but they're a little bit intimidated by the barbell. So if you got any questions, leave in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.